it was Collingwood by 14 points, despite losing every key statistical category under the sun. David King, you're the best analyst in football. You didn't make the trip over to Perth. You watched it from your lounge chair. What did you make of it?
Oh, I didn't watch it from the lounge. I would have loved to have watched it from the lounge. But
where'd you watch it from?
We've got a whole base over in Perth. We don't need to double up.
Were you in the studio? Did you head into the studio?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, so
my bad.
Yes.
Because they couldn't have given you a night off.
I thought the Collingwood
12-hour Saturdays and Sunday nights and Thursday nights. They just couldn't have given you a. Have you got it? It's all yours. Anyway,
when you look at this game, it is just, I think, a small version of where football's gone the last couple of years, Cornsey. Efficiency trumps ball winning. So I don't. It's almost irrelevant the dominance of clearance if you don't get bang for buck, if you don't take the ball effectively from inside to outside and punish the opposition. I mean, they just, for whatever reason, Fremantle couldn't find an avenue to goal. Whether it was the entries of low quality or the targets, just couldn't get the job done. I mean, it's a deeper discussion, the Fremantle forward 50, than what we'll probably do in this little short segment now. But they got a lot of work to do. I thought their performance was really strong. So I want to just dip out a little bit to the coaching performance. I thought he found a way to get them up. They corrected a lot of the ills from the previous week. So I thought Justin had a pretty good week. So I think we're hard on him when it fails. But this is a game, if they could replicate this, in the next 12 weeks, 10 of the next 12 weeks, they're in the finals. But they've got some work to do.
Yeah, look, I agree largely with everything that you've said. Like, if you'd given them plus 28 in entries, you'd given them plus 13 in clearance, 75 more disposals, they controlled it, time in forward half, that third quarter, the numbers were extraordinary. But the but is, it was the lineup wrong. I kept looking at their forward 50 and the amount of times that four Giants were trying to compete for the same ball was just the wrong mix. So when you've got Jackson playing as a forward, when you've got Voss there, when you've got Amos, when you've got Tracy, they just look so tall. And I said during why not try something different? Go a little bit smaller. Put Murphy Reid down there. Put Frederick down there. Like, see if you can have Dudley and just go a bit more unpredictable with your entries. I know that's hard to change mid-game and mid-quarter and all of that, but personnel-wise, they were so tall, which lent to the fact that, okay, we're tall, we're going to put it in the air, and what you get is 23 intercept marks to 12. Collingwood defended extraordinarily well.
Yeah, it was a world record defensive 50 intercept mark game. 16 they took, Collingwood. So in the end, that was the difference. The inside 50 is not the achievement, right? We talk about this a lot. This to me, Fremantle without Hayden Young have become the Melbourne Football Club. It's win a stack of footy, drive it in, just get it in anyway. The inside 50 is not an achievement. You've got to have more care for the forward 50 and how it functions. They went to Tracy 11 times. The problem they've got in their forward line is they've got guys out of form. Like Jay Amos, he couldn't draw you one at the moment. And you've got Frederick, who's not really that stand under the ball type player. And then the others are smalls. I thought Voss was okay. I thought Tracy had a lot of opportunities and just was okay. Like, he marked a lot of balls high up on the wing, but they really needed him stapled to the goal square. I don't know if Jackson gets enough looks in a goal square sort of sense. Two targets on the night. I mean, that's just not enough for that sort of player. So they got some work to do. But Collingwood, you have to take your hat off to what Craig McRae's been able to do.
We're about to. We're about to. Can we just tie a bow on Freo first?
Yeah, keep going.
So I'm not sure how serious Sean Darcy is, but he was clearly subbed out. He was hobbled by that knee. Let's have a listen to the coach who gave an update post-game.
Oh, yeah, we'll work that out, see how he pulls up tomorrow. I don't think it's significant. It's it's got I think they called it a jarred knee. So in a kick, I think. So came on. He was sore, so it was just opportunity to sub him out. We needed to go a bit smaller, and once he was sore, it was just a good opportunity to pull that lever.
So I don't, you know my thoughts on it. You know my thoughts on it from the start. But they just look better when Jackson's in the ruck. They just look a better side, a more balanced side. Jackson himself actually gets into the game. His follow-up stuff is pretty good. So now the issue for them is, what do they do for the next 6-7 years? And is he a trade target for another club, Sean Darcy? I think Fremantle would absolutely look at that, but it's going to be difficult to do it. So that's going to be a problem for them. I just don't think they're effective with Darcy, who had one kick. Don't know if he took a mark, maybe one. Didn't have an effective kick, just the one. So that's going to be a problem for them ongoing. But let's get on to Collingwood.
But you do like teams having two rucks.
I've heard you say this. No, that's not. You need someone who is a capable 15 minutes a game to be able to go in the ruck. Like, I don't want Patrick Cripps in the ruck. You need someone who can do that. But you don't need two genuine A-grade ruckmen on $1 million a year playing in the same side when you can't put them anywhere else. That's what I don't like. So if you've got a Riley Thilthorpe who can go set back, perfect. If you've got any other team that's got a genuine option,
how many have
got
them? I mean, give me the top 5 second ruckmen in the comp.
Well, you need someone who
give me
can
the top
compete.
5. Who are they?
Well, I'll have to have it. You've sort of just put me on the spot.
Who are these second ruckmen that everyone's talking
Riley
about?
Thilthorpe is a good example of that.
Yeah, who's next?
Yeah, but let's address having.
But they're
two
not around. This is my point.
But you need two on $1 million.
Well, you probably need two.
You're happy with this and the way it's working with these two rucks. You could not say this is working, and you could not possibly defend it.
Well, I don't care about the finance of it, right? Because, we come at things differently. I don't think they're on $1 million, but we come at it differently.
Well, let's say 900. They're not cheap. Can we say that?
So, but you still need them on your list, because as soon as you haven't got a ruckman, you're in all sorts.
They've got 3.
Yeah.
I mean, Reedy,
Three's not many.
Reedy is a very much a viable option if someone gets injured. Like, he can step in and play tomorrow.
Do you really think that he's an AFL level ruckman at this stage?
Yeah, I don't think their performance would suffer that much at all if he came in and was a genuine ruckman.
I disagree with that.
You don't think he could compete like a Riley O'Brien type could compete?
I don't think so. No.
Right.
No.
So you want to keep you're happy to keep Sean Darcy, who rarely plays on big money until 2030, and when he does play, he can't play forward. And you can't hide him. Like, look at his game. Give me his game time last night.
But I don't think
34 minutes at halftime.
Yeah. I don't think Jackson can go full ruck minutes. He's physically not able.
So go Jackson and Voss. Like, that's no worries. Go Jackson for the majority of it, and put Voss in there to compete for 15 minutes a game. Okay. I just think they look so much better, and the numbers would back it up. Like, look at Jackson's centre bounce stuff when he's in there, and their win rate versus anyone else. Like,
we had this discussion last night with Lee Montagna, and they come at it a different way. Some of these, so most of his ruck stuff that you're looking at, the numbers you're looking at, are against second rucks. They're not against the prime ruckman, because Darcy does.
Darcy hasn't played much footy though, so it must be. He missed a lot of games, Darcy.
But then Reedy's played, right? So he's played prime minutes. So most of the numbers.
So what is he then? What is Jackson then?
I'm just putting a layer of information to it. The numbers with Jackson are distorted because he's up against second rucks. So if you want to have a look at him as that man for the next few weeks, fine. You'll get that opportunity. But I think there's a deeper discussion than just this is what he does, that's what he does.
So if he's not a ruck, though, he's definitely not a forward. Like, he does not look. He couldn't compete as a forward. The amount of times he was outmarked last night, and he's got the symbols for hands. So he's definitely not a midfielder. As much as they try and tell you that he can play anywhere, if he's not a ruckman, then what's his use?
I think the number was when they both played together last year, 8 wins, 3 losses.
Yeah, well, it's 0-2 this year. So
yeah, but 8-3 is a pretty strong sample.
Well, it's 0-2, so make it 8-5.
He's come off injured. I mean, give him
last week
a little chop out.
Last week was good. Last week was good, wasn't it? -28 in clearance against St Kilda.
Yeah, but they smashed him last night at clearance. I mean, you couldn't get a better clearance performance than last night. So you can't have it one way and not the other. So 20 to 8 out of the centre bounce was a smashing. They just got nothing for it. I don't think that's a ruck issue. Their issue isn't the ruck. Their issue is forward of the ball. What's going on with? Do you continue on with Jai Amos? Does he have to go for a spell in the reserves? Do you continue on with Frederick, or does he need a break? I think they should be using Cox forward because he's one who can take a contested mark. The Smalls, they don't seem to get their crumbing right. There's the problem in that forward 50 that needs some serious work.
Let's move on to Collingwood because you've just got to absolutely pay them the credit that they deserve for that performance. Not a whole lot from Nick Dacos as much as he fought on and looked dangerous forward, still side bottom, subbed out, just 7 touches. But they find a way, and it was incredible. I thought Chris' game was unbelievable. I thought the big ruckman Cameron once again in the All-Australian conversation. And Jamie Elliott kicks your 6 goals. They did this with 34 entries, and I know we've spoken about what entries mean, but to have 22 scoring shots from 34 entries, I'm not sure if there's been a more efficient performance than that for the year. And off turnover Kingy, once again, front half turnover in particular, they are the most devastating team in footy. They had 15 shots from turnover last night. So what is it about them that regardless of who's in there, regardless of what ground they play on or what state that they're in, they continue to get this done?
Yeah, I think the planning on this was that they learn a lot from what's got Fremantle in the past, in recent weeks, and that's get your small forwards high up the ground and make it a foot race back to goal. They're slow. Their back 6 are slow, Fremantle. And Bobby Hill got out the back. Schultz got out the back. We had Elliott getting out the back. Just as soon as they sniffed the ball was going to a contest, not a turnover just yet, they were on the move, getting goal side. And as soon as it became a turnover, they were gone. And it's just become an obvious way to plan and play against this back 6. So that's the challenge for Fremantle, but you've got to take your hat off to what Jamie Elliott's been able to do. He's in pretty good form the last 4 or 5 weeks, and they don't rely on one man. That's what I like about their forward line. It's not a one-man show. It's just hard to match up against all of them because they have 5 or 6, I reckon 4 of the 6 are viable threats every time it comes in.
So only 2 games on the road for the rest of the year. So 12 in Melbourne, and they've got a bye, I think, in round 14, perfectly positioned on top of the ladder to manage this squad for the back half of the year. I'm not sure any team's been in a better spot to potentially go all the way. And, yep, I didn't think they'd make there's a long way to go. And I think that the health of the squad will be an interest to me in just how they hold up, but feels like they're going to be able to manage that pretty well. We saw that last night with the players that were rested and side bottom subbed out. So that would be the only thing if just these injuries keep piling up. But can we just discuss the Lockie Schultz concussion?
Yeah.
Why didn't they stop the game? That was as confronting a concussion I've seen for a while. And all of a sudden the ball's just going back through the middle of the ground. Let's have a listen to the Collingwood captain, Darcy Moore, just on this incident.
Yeah, it was. Well, we were pretty concerned just at how severe he looked, like how disorientated he looked, and we sort of first thing, both players on both teams sort of thought the game should have been stopped at least for 20 seconds to let him off the ground. Obviously, a lot of the Freo guys connected to Lockie as well, so that was really our first concern because of just how nasty it looked. But felt like out here in the moment that like someone's in a state like that and we're still running around chasing the footy. It didn't feel right.
Well, I don't understand why we expect a concussed player to get to his feet and walk from the ground. Why aren't we just bringing the Medicard out or the old style stretcher? I just don't understand why we think that nothing more confronting than seeing a man tumble to ground.
I know. It was old. It was honestly, it was old school. It was like I remember watching Jude Bolton do that once. I mean, he tried to get up courageously and then fell back over, but that's what was the dumb thing like back then. But we know so much more. Stop the game. We're stopping games for cramp now. The umpires stopped the game for Nick Dacos's cramp in opening round. We're stopping the game for bruised ribs. We're stopping the game for a player we're not just got a corky. But we're not stopping the game for someone who can't stand up and gets to his feet and falls over flat on his face. Stop the game. Make sure you calm him down, sit him down, and then get the bloody stretcher so he ran off the ground after falling over once. I didn't understand that, and I would hope that there's a review into that and the AFL admit that in hindsight, the umpires really got that one wrong.
No, they ticked this off last week. They said that it's at the discretion of the umpire if the injured or impacted player will be in the line of play.
Well,
Now-
I've seen others that they've stopped the game for where players are well out of the way.
When a
and we've
guy's
got that one
in that
Yeah, when
frozen,
he's-
arms
yeah.
locked position, just stop the game.
Stop the game.
There's not
Goodness
one
sake.
person's going to be upset with that. Hey, can we just quickly talk about Jack Crisp? How
Yeah,
he
on
was
the
able to put... Okay,
On the other side of this,
we can do that.
Kingy, Jack Crisp, I'll let you loose for 90 seconds on this man.
Wow, he just had an outstanding performance last night. I just couldn't help but think off the back of last week's disappointment to get himself back up again without the 4 stars that they left out of their lineup to have 30 touches and be involved in everything. Kicked a couple of big goals, and when they just needed someone to be safe and sure with the ball, he was the man. So I just want to recognise him. I know we always talk about him. We talk about those underrated players that do this and do that. He's better than that. He's when he plays in the midfield like he did last night as a true midfielder, he just offers something different, Cornsey.
Pretty handy option to have. He spoke after the game. He said, "Look, I've been playing wing all years, but put me inside and I've sort of relished the opportunity." Number 1 ranked player on the ground was outstanding. I just wanted to give some love to Jordan Clark, who no one ever talks about. No one ever, when we're talking about the best halfbacks in football, no one mentions him. I think he's such a good footballer. He's not the player that he was 3-4 years ago. He's really brave in the air. I think he defends well. Some of his ball use and damage off halfback last night was as good as I've seen for a while. I thought his game was outstanding. When we're talking about underrated players, I think he's got to be in the mix for that, and I think he's got to be in the mix when we continually talk about the best halfback flanks in the game. I don't think he gets enough love, so I just wanted to give him a shout out. Last week, you had Piers Bailey Humphrey in the gun, and pretty spot on, I would have thought.
Up and down, up and down.
Up and down, yep.
Yep. Need better from him. And you had North Melbourne for a change.
I had
Hey,
well,
something
was it-
unique.
I had North Melbourne for continuing, I should say, to speak to Damien Barrett despite his relentless criticism of the football club for the best part of 6 or 7 years. And then you and I debated whether he was a true supporter. I said he was, and you sort of questioned his support
I tell you who I'm putting
for
in
the
the
club.
gun.
Hang on, it's for Grays.com, Australia's leading online auction marketplace. Who are you putting in the gun?
Well, I'm putting Matty Nix in the gun.
Nixie.
I want Nixie just to attack this game like no other. I think sometimes this build up to the showdown can consume both parties, and they're getting so nervous and pent up about what's coming that they don't play their best footy. I want the Crows to release the shackles and blow Port Adelaide to the Shizen House.
You will be barracking like no man has barracked
No,
harder
I'm
in
not
their
barracking.
lives.
I'm not barracking.
Are you telling me you're not barracking for Adelaide this week?
Not barracking for Adelaide this week.
You want Port to win?
I don't care who wins, but I think
you
if
do.
Adelaide are a serious football team, they put 10 goals on them. I really think that, and I want him to explore. So I'm putting Nixie in the gun because I think they'll get the job done convincingly. But I want to see more Jordan Dawson at full forward. I want to see him playing the new role that Dangerfield and Marcus Bontempelli are working their way in. So for me, sold on Matty Nix getting the job done by no less than 8 goals.
No less than 8 goals. So Nixie is in the gun. I'm putting Dylan Moore in the gun. I think he's had a really flat year. All Australian last year. Thought he was extraordinary last year. 36 goals. He was sort of your 20 touches, 2 goal kind of operator last year, Dylan Moore. I still think he's working pretty hard, but his impact has sort of dropped off a cliff this year. Every single statistical category basically down. He had 33 goal assists last year. He's had 2 this year. Two goal assists. He had 33 last year. His entries are down. His disposals are down. His scoreboard impact is down. So Dylan Moore, I'd love to see him rediscover that form that we saw last year. He's a bit of an off-Broadway character and everyone respects the way he goes about it. But with a couple of big outs for the Hawks, I think they need their All-Australian half-forward to get the job done this week. Grays.com, Australia's leading online auction marketplace. It's easy to buy and sell with Grays. Let's get straight into this. I've just been hearing, Callum Toomey and Riley, who we'll speak to shortly, have been all over sort of this Tassie build They had Derek Hine on Gettable during the week, who's the new list boss. There's $1 million check that they've got for this signing bonus, and they can cut it up any way they want. They can have 5 players get a couple $100,000, or you can go all out and spend it all. Is there a possibility, Kingy, that Tassie could lure Nick Dacos, Gary Ablett Jr. style, with an offer that he just cannot say no to? Is that at all possible?
No. No.
Or did you think that Gary Ablett would ever leave Geelong?
Probably not. No, probably not.
So why not? And do you have a crack? Do you use the $1 million?
It's not enough.
Plus the contract he's going to get. So then call it $2 million a season to actually play. And does he go there for 8 years and then come home and finish back at Collingwood?
Well, would that be the best move?
I don't know. That's what I sort of wanted to put on the agenda.
It's a nice discussion. I mean, would they be better off getting 2 players and 500 each?
Maybe. And I'd have to look at.
Surely Nick wouldn't leave. I mean,
I'd have to look at his contract stuff. I'm not sure if he can wiggle himself out of that and what the state of play there is. I haven't given it a big deep dive, but players have done,
wiggle his way out of a Collingwood contract.
Well, players have done that before. He wouldn't be the first player to wiggle himself out of a contract, would he?
I don't think there's any wiggling.
Oh, Dan Houston managed to wiggle himself out. Not saying that Houston's Dacos, but I'm just saying I would have what I'm saying to you is I would have a crack, like Gold Coast did with Ablett, and just gave him an offer that he could not refuse.
Butters is the one, isn't it?
You reckon?
Yeah. Yep.
I'd rather Nick.
Oh, cool. Hello. Well, my agenda. I want to put Dan Houston under the microscope. He's been underwhelming. He's been underwhelming this year. And I'm just not sure whether it's the way they're using him or whether it's a different system. You know, the kicking plan at Port Adelaide suited him. The handball plan at Collingwood not so much, and they go at express off half back, and maybe the game leaves him really quickly. And it's sort of left him for dead a little bit because I'd have to say his first 6 or 7 games have been really quiet. I don't know whether they need to look at the role, get him around the ball a bit more because he just doesn't look to have the same spark and the same zest as what he had at Port Adelaide.
I agree with that. I thought he was going to be in for a huge one last night just because he had been so flat. He was good against Port Adelaide in his first game for them, but nowhere near the player that he was last year, the back-to-back All-Australian. Did you want to put Hugo Garcia on the agenda?
No, this is part. See, this is
a crack at me, is it?
Well, you and your little shows that you're running. I missed this at the time.
Little shows that you're running.
And our man Hugo Garcia had a young player had a pretty good couple of weeks, and we put him on the radar. Yeah, and then you guys backed over him and us after he got substituted halfway through the second quarter by Roscoe.
Mine is to you, Corn, and is that Hugo Garcia, his fall from grace is as big as we've seen this year.
Well, 2 of the smartest minds in football, this is how they saw his form, David King and Joey Montagna only 2 weeks ago.
But at clearance, and I don't think many people are giving this guy his flowers, if you have a look at what he's been able to do, he's the number 1 player in the competition at turning an effective clearance into a score.
There's a lot of Libba in that. There's a lot of Tom Liberatore in the way that he plays and doing those sorts of things. I like it, Kingy.
No wonder Ross was heavily criticised. He didn't even last 2 quarters, Hodgie. That was quick, that was.
So you put shit on us when he got substituted. And last week,
one of the great pump-ups.
Last week he was terrific and got the Rising Star nom. And where's the backing over the receipts?
I don't know if he's Libba. I mean, he
plays like Libba. Have you seen him move?
Big call. Big call.
He's a young player trying to make ends meet. We're giving him a little bit of love.
Did you not hear 2 of the smartest minds?
I heard.
You not hear me pumping you up.
It's just the little, disingenuous entry into a clip.
You just went a tad strong on Hugo.
A tad strong?
Yeah, like calling him the next Libba.
He plays like Libba. He moves like Libba. He's a beautiful clearance player. I think he's going to be a ripper. I think you may have bitten one off there. We'll keep tracking that.
It was a big fall from grace. It was
1 week. He's a young player. 1 week.
He didn't even last. It's unusual for someone to get subbed out before half time. Would you agree with that?
Well, Ross has done that. Not him.
That was the crack at Ross. Did you not hear that?
No, I don't think it was a crack at Ross.
Tad says
This didn't age very well.
Tad, I didn't say that at all.
Who you got in the agenda?
I've got I wanted to talk to you about the Butters deal.
Yeah.
At Port Adelaide. A lot of people say to me, "Oh, you'd be supportive of the Butters deal, would you?" No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't be supportive of the Butters deal.
There's a couple of deals, isn't there? There's a 2-year and an 8-year.
So when does a club, I don't care how good you are, when does a club bow to a player like this? Like basically, here's 2, and if you want out, you can get out, and no worries, you can leave. But if you want to extend and lock yourself in, regardless of how the first 2 goes, you've got another guaranteed 6. So it did take me back to the Josh Kelly deal, where the Giants just bent over backwards to give him the shorter option, and then you have the option to lock yourself in, regardless of your form, regardless of injury. You can take up the extra 8 years for $8 million or whatever it was for Kelly. I don't know. I think it's a dangerous game to be playing to bow to players like that. Just offer them a deal. Just offer him what you think he's worth and leave it at that. Don't give him outs.
Why? What don't you give him a deal that you're hoping he'll accept? And whether you have to manage or offer different compromises in that deal, isn't that part of the negotiation?
Well, it is, but I just think it's just giving far too much power to the player.
Well, of course it is, but the players own all the power now.
Mm.
He's 24.
Only because clubs let that happen.
You don't want to lose him, surely.
Not at all. Not at all. So just offer him what you think he's worth. Don't be like massaging deals and here's 2 and after 2, if you're happy to leave, you can leave. But if you want to stay, you can stay regardless of your form or your body or whatever happens in the next 2, you can lock yourself in. I don't know. It's just become
so. What's the perfect offer?
A little bit ridiculous.
What's the perfect offer?
I think
in the Corns. We need it. This needs a stinger. This needs something where your list management expertise coming to the fore.
I just think you need to
give me the offer. Give me the offer.
I hate anything more than 5, but for this one, you're going to have to go 6, and you pay him your 1.1, 1.2, and if that's not good enough, then it's not good enough, and you might have to lose one, because once you start paying players more than 10% of your salary cap, then I think we've got an issue.
No,
and I think
the salary cap's going to 20 million.
Well, it's going to go to 18.7, not 20. And then I keep hearing that there isn't any more finance left in the game. Listen
20
to
in
Hutchie
2
speak
years,
about this. Well, it's 18.7, I think, at the end of next. But then you listen to Hutchie speak about the money in the game and how this TV deal is not probably going to be replicated ever. So you'd want to be careful locking players in beyond this TV deal, because it might come back. Like the deal might come back and the money might come back. Anyway,
how often has that happened?
Well, never yet, but this deal seemed extraordinary, and we'll see how the NRL deal goes as they negotiate it now. But
so you'd be prepared to lose him to offer him a 6-year deal?
No, I'd offer him a big deal. Don't get me wrong. Big money.
1.1 at 6 is not a big deal.
Well, it's pretty big.
It's not a big deal.
It'd be the highest paid port player in the history of the club's history.
It would the history of the history. It'd be the lowest deal on the table from any club.
Well, that's good. Well, and see how that goes. How many players are Geelong paying more than 1.1 million? And they go all right. Geelong go all right, don't they?
How do we know what they're paying them?
Well, they're not paying many 1.1. I'll tell you that much, if any. I don't think any, anyway.
Cameron would be getting 1.1. Absolutely.
I'm not on his new deal. He's just signed a new one. I don't reckon it'd be 1.1.